Yo, what's going on, guys? I have a platinum and a Nunu to show you today. In this game, he had an overall solid performance, but he's not quite sure how he could have carried any harder. For your runes and items, it looks decent. The only thing I would say is for your runes, I would highly recommend trying Relentless Hunter and the Zombie Ward as well. Those are really strong for Nunu. Taking the Tenacity honestly isn't that important because most games you're going to be going for Sunfire Aegis anyways, which is going to give you Tenacity, so I wouldn't worry too much about the Tenacity aspect. Plus, like the Lulu knock-up, the Warwick R, your Tenacity won't help you against anyways. I like the early game aggression since you have someone following you, otherwise I wouldn't do this. You have a pretty aggressive ward. Nunu has a lot of different routes he can run. I'm assuming you're going to do blue buff into his Raptors because you're starting over here, or maybe you just want to path bot lane. Your win condition in general on Nunu is Dragon Soul. If you can get Dragon Soul, you're going to win 70-80% of those games. So, yep. Start out with your Q. You even took Exhaust, which is really funny. There's not many Nunus that do that. You take Exhaust when you feel like you have the stronger backline. Or you can do it if the enemy has like one hyper carry, but they have the Zerath, Trist, Aurelia, and kind of the Warwick, to where I'm not quite sure if Exhaust is worth it this game unless you feel like you really need it for the Aurelia. So I think Flash would be good this game too. What I would have personally liked to see you do is abuse Raptor camps. It's something that Graves can do too. Graves clears Raptors really fast with his Qs and autos. Something you could have done is blue buff and you drag it as you're fighting it. And then once you have it here, if you get a leash, you just like walk away until your Q's back up, you finish it, and then you W the second you hit the river. And then you take wraps into like gank, take your wraps, and then like red buff scuttle. So it's basically a 4-camp clear with an invade and a gank mixed in into scuttle. So that is an option, especially for a champion that you know is going to take at least 1 to 2 camps before they cross over. Like Warwick will always do, if he starts bot side, he'll always do like blue and Gromp. At least most of the time he will clear his full blue side jungle. You W over immediately. It looks like your Ashkan actually got a kill. I actually think that's a really good matchup for Ashkan because it's really hard for Irelia to land stunned on him. So early game, it's actually really good for him. It's really easy to play it because he has the range advantage. If she does anything, he just dodges it for free. We'll speed it up. Very standard. You don't really have time to full clear on Nunu, so it's pretty much just 5-camp clear like you're doing here in the gank. Looks good. Nunu, since he is a hyper ganker, you do constantly have to scan your lane. So you would have checked mid and said, not really gankable. And your top got a kill, so this is the best option by far. I like how you cut them off with the snowball. It was hard to land it since your teammates didn't have vision. You still have your exhaust. You might have been able to use that. Yeah, she was just barely out of range. That's rough. Alright, you finally use your exhaust. Honestly, looks good. Solid, you get the kill. The next thing you need to do is after any gank is to assess whether or not your wave's pushing. And your teammate's low, so obviously he needs to reset. So what you'd want to do here is shove, like help him shove this wave, and then you're going to take scuttle. That's your best move here. But now what's going to end up happening is Ezreal's going to get stuck kind of pushing this on his own. And then Tristan, Lulu are going to catch a lot of this wave. So yeah, a lot of this wave Lulu could have caught, but she kind of chose not to. But Trist is still going to get one. In terms of XP, that one minion that died, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she got a whole wave's worth of XP. I would definitely try to help shove after a successful gank if your teammates need to bat. So the only thing I would have done differently there, you get the golems into reset. That's not bad. That's a good option. Something you should look for on Nunu if you have a lot of gankable lanes, which you do. You just gank bot. Mid's pretty gankable. Zerath, especially if he's pushing or if he has R, top's gankable. is you could look to rush tier 2 boots. Or you could have gone tier 2 boots rush with maybe a dark sill. That would have been really, really good. Tier 2 boots rush, if you're going to rush it, you normally go lucidities or you go for plated steel caps. Plated steel caps are really good to rush because it helps you tank turrets and dive. And obviously monsters and minions and champion auto attacks, it's going to help you with that. Going from the W from a distance, I like it. Oh, let me turn on the fog of war. Basically, by the time they see you on your W, you want it to be max girth. So ideally, you have the maximum amount of time left on your W while simultaneously it being max girth. So this is pretty much perfect. So she can't outrun it like they kind of did bot lane. You cancel your W because it basically missed. You E into Q. Nice job, man. Really nice gank. You need to assess. This is your biggest mistakes you made so far. The same mistake. Assess whether or not the wave's going to push or whether or not your laner can just back. In this case, you have more minions. It's probably going to push, right? And it's closer to your side of the wave as well, which is going to make it push. So you would have wanted to shove this because this guy needs to back. Now he's going to have to solo push. And then this next wave. Ooh, you're lucky. But now he's having to stay because these 3 minis didn't get back. And then Irelia's going to come back with full HP, right? She's about to be here. And now look, she's only going to miss out on... She only missed like 1 or 2 minions. And now he has to back because he was held up. And she's going to get full lane prio while he's resetting and whatnot. Something to think about. Let's watch what you did in this gank. Let's see. Nice W. I would hug the wall a little tighter. Other than that, it's fine. The tighter you hug the wall, no ward in here will be able to see you. W into E. Ooh, that's such a shame. That was so close. Very unlucky on that one. Play around the scuttle crabs. Whenever you're in the mid game and there's no dragon up, no herald, really prioritizing the scuttle so you can gank either lane off of it. You W around. That was actually a really nice W. Nice job. That can be deceptively hard corner to make. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But you see how he's low now? Now he's gonna have to try to solo shove that. Honestly, dude, everything right now looks really good. You ended up not getting a dragon, which sucks because Nunu really needs them because we were topside on basically dragon spawn. But other than not really playing for bot side dragons and not helping shove the waves, everything looks good other than that. Because that's your only win condition on Nunu. If it's full late game and you don't have drag soul, you're not going to win the game. It's just the sad reality. And then you kill the Irelia. Nice. Alright. So yep, just make sure you get the next dragon. You need the next 4 in a row basically if possible. And your bot lane isn't hard losing or anything, so I wouldn't be too afraid. Ideally, at this point, you shouldn't be going top unless there's like nothing else you can do. Because he has a huge lead on her. So like he should be able to solo her at this point. He's going in for his cheesy roam. His kit's so... like, there's too much in it. Beautiful W. Yeah. Probably would have gone for Triss there, to be honest. You end up going for the Lulu. You pull off. You're going to have to cancel that W. That's a tiny little snowball. That's funny. So yeah, all you can do right now is get red buff and then wait for Scuttle. It's your only move. I'd break that control ward. Malzahar's R is up. Warwick is basically impossible for you to 1v1 on Nunu at any point in the game. You don't do enough damage and he just heals off you, so never try to solo him. The only way you guys are going to kill Warwick is if you like Malzahar ult him or something. Beautiful W. Oh, yep. I would try to pelt with your E's harder. I would just make sure you're landing all of them. He almost lived there. Also, don't be afraid to take the kill, because if he would have lived there again, that would have been like heartbreaking. So if you have to, you can blue smite. Nice R, you didn't steal the kill. Cool. Warwick R was on cooldown. Cool. Yep, go for Herald. Best play without a doubt. If Herald wasn't here, you would just want to stay and get plates. Generally, when you have multiple people, you only want to take 2 plates max together, because you're giving the turret more armor and magic resist per plate you take for the more of you that are there. Herald's a great option here. Probably your best option now. In this case, I probably would have gone top. Something that lower elo does, or I should just say, the lower elo you are, the junglers, they don't look for dives enough. So Ashkin's ahead, and I know it looks like this probably isn't diveable, but he's going to be doing a lot of damage and his ignite's up. So as you're taking this, just look in closely, or you could even ping you're on your way and he might start trading it off. So unless you think Warwick's going to be here, this could be a really good option when you do have Herald. Or since you do decide to go farm, you could wait to gank mid, lay Herald. Herald scrapes 2 plates in a sliver. It's like 2 1/5 basically. So top, they scrap it out. That could have been your kill. It's fine though. You're going to play for the dragon. Decent choice. Irelia is dead. This is fine. Ideally, you'd want to gank first, but they dumped a wave, so this is pretty safe. I would just go for it. Unless you're worried about Irelia TP, but we know that's down. Or at least we should if somebody pinged it out when she used it. Irelia. Ooh. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Got a off a full R channel. How do you throw this game? You're so far ahead. Like, in terms of like how well things can go for Nunu, almost every single one of your ganks has been a kill, and your laners aren't really solo losing. So this is, oh man, you need to get that dragon though. This is where things go wrong, isn't it? Why did we not take dragon? You've been making so many good decisions, but all of a sudden you guys just got a pick. And we're not taking dragon. Like, Soraka could drain herself to half health and get them back to full. And you have armor. You should be able to tank this pretty easily. You have double armor. 20, 15. You have 35 bonus. Yeah, that's a shame. We definitely should grab that. We need to get Dragon Soul ASAP. And now we're pathing away from it. I assume we lose this dragon. I mean, if we're pathing away from it, there's just no way we're going to get it. W, yep, missed the corner that time. Get off a beautiful snare. You even give him the kill. You're a nice guy. If you are ahead, I would try to pick up a Dark Seal as soon as you can on Nunu. It's really good for Zach Nunu, any AP tank jungler. Dark Seal's a great item. You would want to do a little bit more damage to the turret before you lay that. Yeah, now... Do you see how it says 2? So now it has extra armor and magic resist, so it takes a little longer to break. Not a big deal. As long as you get off 2 Herald body slams, it's pretty solid. Herald, yes, they do get dragon. That's rough. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Ashkin's going to blow a shutdown, and then you guys are probably going to lose. Because you don't have the dragons to fall back on. Ooh. I would... So there's a sweet spot for Nunu W. Like we talked about, it's best used when they can only see you when it's at its girthiest, while at the same time you have the maximum amount of time left on your W duration. In terms of using it at close range, you only do it if you have a very long chase down path, like if they're missing 2 turrets and you're going to run them down, which is rare. And then the only other time you do it is, well, the 2 other times you do it is if you proc phase rush and you're trying to get away, so you W. Because phase rush will stop your W from really slowing you much. And then the other time is you W to cancel someone mid dash, like a Triss jump or a Kha'Zix jump or an Irelia dash. So you hover your cursor and then you just press W and it will cancel it if you put it in the right spot. But in terms of using it at close range. Your snowball is not at girth here, which means it's not moving very quick. And you're also like CCing yourself. So basically you could have just walked to Ashcan and you could use your E's and your exhaust and even hover your cursor. So like, let's say you think she's going to jump here. You can just hover your cursor basically on Ashcan or maybe slightly in front of him. And then just press W when she jumps. But since we used it like this, there's just no way we're going to land it. And then he dies. So, little unfortunate. I'd say that's basically GG's. You can't win now. The reason you can't win is they have double dragon and Ashcan Blue is shut down to Irelia. Even though he does have a huge advantage in his first few levels in lane phase, like Ashcan doesn't really scale in my opinion. I don't think he does, or at least not yet. They'll probably give him more buffs and stuff. At this point, all your hard work is being for nothing. Because now she has all that gold back. And she's even up in CS. Yeah, this game went off the rails. We'll speed it up. He got the shutdown back. You're farming it up because there's really nothing else to do right now. You're going in for blind W. You got to get out of there, big boy. Drop the E's. Probably wouldn't have turned around. You probably would have been fine if you just kept running. You're not AP Nunu. You can't kill her. You actually got really lucky there. I was wondering how she couldn't keep up with you. Your snare hit her when she was in mid-air. That's so lucky. Because if she W just like a half a second later, do you see how she got snared even before she hit the ground? So yeah, technically, if you would have realized that, you should have just blue smited and keep running. And you can even like quick tap your R. Cancel it instantly, first shield if you needed it against an auto attack. But yeah, definitely shouldn't have turned. The early game was so good though. You were playing, other than not pushing waves after a good gank, when your teammates needed to back. Other than that, it was like really clean ganks. There's just no way now. There's some champs, like if you were, let's say an Echo Jungle or something, if you were just a hyperscaler, I would say you still got this, but I don't know. We're fighting before the dragon comes up because Trist is dead. We come in, but we're already so low on health. Oh, because Malzahar is almost dead, so it's basically a 4v4 here. You don't want to go in too early. You're gonna have to wait. Once again, oh no, I guess you didn't realize Malzahar was low, because you can't, if you have equal number of people, you guys really aren't ahead. Like, you're really not. It may seem like you are just because you guys have more kills, but when you take into account CS, like Trist is up 20 and Irelia's up like 40 CS. And just to give you an idea, you could press tab and see she has 2 full items and he has 2 full items. Yeah, so that's rough. Definitely need to press tab more. I just don't think you realized Malzahar was this low. You probably thought it was a 5 versus 4. You gotta look around before making big game-making decisions, whether it's a dive or an objective. You guys can't fight this now. You just gotta leave it. Zerath's gonna poke you off. It's the only thing Zerath's good for. It's just these long, drawn-out standoffs. So we'll speed it up. I'm surprised we're going for this. You do land the double knock-up. Whenever you do go in with your W, you're going to want to look to land your E on multiple people. So here, after you land it on Irelia or whoever, you want to splash it onto the other people to get off a multi-snare. The Lulu Polymorph got you good there. That's rough. So they have triple dragon at this point. I think they outscale you because of the Zerath Lulu. I don't think Warwick necessarily outscales you, because I think you're more useful in team fights, but I think the Ezreal and Trist are like equally useful late game. I don't know why Ezreal went Ignite, but yeah, the Zerath Lulu are going to be a huge issue. Generally, Irelia isn't that big of a deal late game, but if she has an enchanter support, she is, because you can't quite kill her. So at this point, yep, farming's fine. You can't do anything too crazy. The craziest thing you could do is kill Irelia. She's shoved all the way up. You'd have to get all the way over there, though. All you can do is really chill. Wait for them to make a huge mistake, like for them to 5-man Baron when you guys are nearby. Or this. Nice little pick. Trying to find another pick. Don't quite find it. This is not... what is this? Oh, okay. It actually works. I thought Trist was going to turn and shoot you. Trist really hung her Lulu out there to dry. It really goes in. Nice R. I really like that. Whoa, your exhaust actually paid off. See, when you use your W, you were close enough to where you could just land it rather than just trying to push it at them. You only, that's exactly right. So you only use your W in close range when they're close enough for it to instantly land. Beautiful R, nice little exhaust. Oh no, she flashed. And Malzahar's running the wrong way. Okay, the game is still winnable even though they're up 3 dragons and they're about to get soul. You guys need to take Baron though. You just killed 3 of them. This is free Baron, 100%. I would probably not even waste your E on it, to be honest. If Warwick and Lulu show up. You guys get it. Just keep in mind, when you're tanking Baron, you do half damage anyways. So your E is only doing like... I don't even know. It's doing a tiny amount of damage. Your Q still does full amount because it's true damage though. The minimap's bugged, just showing you have a snowball on you. I would generally try to snowball out of base. Also, you can always W from here and get to your Raptors. Or you can W from here and get to your Gromp. So you don't have to wait this long to W is what I'm trying to say. Irebelia's out of position. You go in for a fat girthy one. You turn on oracles before you do it. Looks good. Get your E's on her. Whenever you're dealing with these like nasty, gross, overpowered, disgusting, degenerate Conqueror style champions like Riven, Fiora, Irelia, that type of thing, it's good that you CC'd them, but it's also important that you don't give them free Conqueror stacks. So since you're moving faster than her on phase rush, you can bob in and out and then land your snare. Like, don't let her hit you for free though, because 1, 2, I mean, it may not seem like much, but their Conqueror is really OP. It's really, really busted. Nice knock up. I don't even know how Israel died. I don't think he knows how to position. Yeah, what is he doing? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. He just like blind flashed. Oh my gosh. Alright. You guys just have to pull out now. You don't have any damage. Mages like Malzahar or Annie don't really do anything if their R's on a cooldown. They're not a consistent damage mage. You guys are going to get wiped. Warwick has too much healing for you to kill on Nunu ever. All you can do against Warwick or Conqueror champions is CC and slow them down in fights, but you can't actually solo them. And at this point, they get soul, and I'd say that's GG's, or at least like you guys would only have a 20% chance of winning. At least on Nunu late game. Nunu's late game he's very supporty. He's even more supporty than a Zac or an Ornn. Zac and Ornn can still kind of one-shot people. They land everything. You basically have to wait till they start a Baron. You're charging up W's, trying to find something. Ain't much to find here though. Another thing I'm not crazy about this Randuin's Omen. It's really good if it's a crit champion like Tryndamere. But in this case, I don't know. Like the Warwick's AP, Warwick does a lot of magic damage, his passive and abilities. Zerath does magic damage and Lulu does magic damage. They basically have 2.5 or 3 AP. Plus, the only person who has crit you can't even get to. Like, when are you ever going to be in melee range against Tristana? You're not. I probably would have just finished my warm-up. I'm sorry. I probably would have just finished my Thornmail to get the extra 20% Grievous Wounds bonus. Randuin's is, it's like not the end of the world, but if they had a crit champ you could actually get into melee contact with, or if they didn't have such a good mix of AP and AD, definitely shouldn't show on the minimap solo like this, unless you were gonna give Baron anyways, which in your mind you might have just wanted to give, then that's okay, but you need to ping your teammates to go to their turret. I don't see you pinging them to do that, but the only reason you'd ever do this, show yourself on the map this far away from an up objective, is if you didn't want to go for it anyways. Like if you were willing to give it. But at this point, it doesn't make sense to really come over here because they can take it. Your teammates, one of them just died, and you guys are fighting 3v5. You're all gonna die for this. The best thing we could have done when they did this is not be on the other side of the map. If we feel like we could fight them 4v5, which we kind of can. It's a tough call. Fighting 4v5 under Baron, it might work if Ezreal can poke properly. And if Warwick misses his R. And if one of them stays on Baron, like it could work. Or we needed to just go mid, but we kind of did the worst of both worlds. We weren't in the area and we didn't actually like pressure a turret, if that makes any sense. So we got 0 value out of it, and now we're showing up late to a fight, essentially. Ezreal's getting down his pokes, balanced champ, Warwick gets off the flash fear. You should definitely blue smite somebody. That's rough. Yeah, I probably would have blue smited. It speeds you up anyways. You wouldn't have really lost any space, in my opinion. Vashkin can get some kills here. You could bring your teammates back. Yeah, anything blocks his R, even turrets. I guess anything that can take damage, like this turret won't block, but this one will, if that makes sense. But since it's you and your team, it obviously. Oh yeah, so yeah, I said that right. So this turret wouldn't block, but this one would. Yep. Land a nice W, immediately going for the E's. Get off a beautiful snare on the Triss, but you gotta pull out. Nice little exhaust. That was really nice. Yeah, the base speed up's your best friend on Nunu in the mid late game. And they get dragged. Yep, that's it. That's game. There's just no way. Now, I do want to say, I do think this was a team gap. Like, I think their Irelia is more competent than your Ashcan. I think their Tristana is generally more competent than your Ezreal with the things I was seeing. And I don't know, I think Lulu and Soraka were probably pretty comparable. I think the mid lanes were comparable, so 2/5 of your team was getting basically outclassed. But with that being said, I do still think you could have carried this game if you would have cleaned up the mistakes. And the main mistakes being, after a successful gank, you didn't shove the wave, even when your teammates were low. Another thing you did was, Dragon was up, Ashkin was already ahead, and you pathed away from it. There was also a point when you had, I don't know why that's doing that, it's really annoying. It's making a bunch of sounds. There was another point where you got a kill, and then we ran away from Dragon. We were up like 5, there's like 4 of us here. We killed one of them, and one of them was top. Or Irelia was respawning, and we didn't do Dragon. So that was really unfortunate. Are there any other key points? I guess the only other thing is I would just emphasize your W and never use it at point blank range. Never use it at close range unless it's point blank and it's going to 100% land. Otherwise, they're always going to outrun it. Like I showed you. I mean, other than that, I think it was pretty good. I don't think you have to go exhaust. In fact, if you don't trust your AD carry, I probably wouldn't. But overall, pretty solid, man. I could definitely see you hitting diamond this season. GG's, well played, and best of luck to you.